Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today was a pretty good day. Bitcoin rallied to 32,000. It's a little bit under, but it is still holding and looking to continue higher. So have we found that bottom, that mysterious bottom that so many people are trying to time for? Well, let's talk about it. And also, Dogecoin co-founder calls out Elon. And how does Elon respond? And is it warranted at all? Well, let's discuss this as well. So let's get started. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com and subscribe to a brand new CryptosRUs Clips channel. Welcome, 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 guys. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Someone says, I'm buying a Jeep, don't hate me. No, Jeeps are good. The new Grand Wagoneer is my favorite full-size luxury SUV. And the new Grand Cherokee is fantastic as well. So Jeeps are fantastic, even though it has nothing to do with crypto. But you can buy a Jeep or any car you want with your gains in the future. Well, looking at Bitcoin, 31.8, right? So we pumped up to 32.4? 32.4, yeah, almost 32.4. And we're still stair-stepping upwards. But you could see, after rallying above this 31.6, which was a previous support level, we are now utilizing it once again as a support. Bitcoin has been hovering here. And we have finally broken through that dreaded channel that we have been stuck within for 2-3 weeks. We have finally broken through that. We had a very, very hard time breaking above this 31.6 and holding. You can see last time was at the beginning of May. And, you know, we had a very short stint there. But now we're holding on and we're looking like we want to move forward and upwards. And that is what we want. So did we finally find that bottom, or have we found it already, like I've been saying? And we're ready to move higher. That is what it's looking like right now. And with Bitcoin gaining strength, Bitcoin dominance is still high, 46.3%, which means a lot of the altcoins, even though they have come up a little bit, not nearly as much as before. All the momentum right now is still primarily in Bitcoin, which means that we still have time to DCA, to get into some of our favorite alts that haven't moved quite so much yet. In fact, some of them are just dead in the water right now, and some have even gone into the red today, even though Bitcoin is in the green. So before Q&A, I'll kind of go over this list a little bit. I think it's a good time to kind of give you guys a refresher course on what I like, what's promising within the top 100. All right, so with that said, what is going on today? Well, President Biden did one of the briefest press conferences ever in his tenure, I guess, where he said he talked with Jerome Powell, Fed chair, and said that they're going to fight inflation together, even though he's not going to influence Powell's decision making. We will see if that's true. But on the flip side, the Central Bank of Russia is now looking to incorporate crypto. So they are looking at Bitcoin and crypto and permitting foreign trade with crypto. So Russian central bank is not so worried about inflation right now. They have bigger issues right now as their sanctions being placed worldwide, right? But could this be also a big rally or driver of a rally for Bitcoin and crypto if the central bank of Russia starts accepting Bitcoin as payment? That could be absolutely huge. Huge. Think about the billions upon billions, right? That could be flowing to Bitcoin to be used for trade. Something to look forward to. Also, the UN. The UN agency head says massive opportunities in crypto. All right? Yes, there's massive, massive opportunities. Of course, we're just getting started. Not just for Bitcoin, not just for blockchain, but for DeFi, for payment systems, for lending and banking and all this, right? Still so early, which is why now you have banks, some of the biggest banks out there, that are saying payment systems are the future of fintech. And when they mean payment systems, they mean crypto payment systems. The likes of Strike using the Lightning Network, and even Stellar and MoneyGram, they're working on something where it's going to be a stablecoin network, right? So there's a lot of payment systems out there. And all the biggest financial players, they're trying to get in because they don't want to be left out. So these are all positive things to look forward to. But in the meantime, what about this current rally? Is it sustainable? Is it going to continue? Well, we got a lot of metrics that indicate yes. You know, our friend Techdev, who took like a month or two breather, he's back. He's back in action. He posted a whole plethora of new metrics, a whole bunch showing Bitcoin, where it is, right? This one looking at volume and increasing volume during a run, decreasing volume during correction phase, and during, you know, capitulation and accumulation, right? And looking at right now, we're at C, which is the same point as we saw back in 2018, right? Before Bitcoin went on a tremendous run. So we're kind of right there. Looks very, very similar. And you can see in both cases, within this channel at the number 2 point and number 4 point, we had this big wick downwards, okay? And that's important because usually that indicates that, you know, that's like the last shakeout before we go up. And I've shown metrics that also share that. Like every single major correction that's over, you get that one final down wick, and then you continue upwards. We see it both times. Back in 2020, when we had the COVID crash versus what we just had, the UST crash, right? So also similarities there. But that's not all. This is Dormancy Flow. This measures, again, how much Bitcoin is just dormant versus the new Bitcoin that's coming in and leaving. Basically, this measures how strong holders are. And whenever this reaches a certain level, that means Bitcoin is ready to run. Just like right now. You look at the right-hand side, we're in C. Okay? Just like in 2015, 2019, 2020, 2022. We are at that point where Bitcoin flips above and goes on a massive run. Remember, we're coming out of 9 straight weeks of down. Okay? Bitcoin is severely oversold. So can we get a severely reactionary bounce? Certainly could happen after being down 9 straight weeks, right? Keep that in mind. There's a lot of other stuff. Here's the HODL wave for 1+ year. Again, when you see that HODL wave, right, spike up, well, generally speaking, that is when Bitcoin has found a bottom, and again, Bitcoin goes on a tremendous rally, just like all previous correction times. And again, right now is one of those times. So there's a plethora of models and metrics and charts out there that is indicating a bottom has formed. Here's one that's measuring 200 EMA, 200 weekly EMA, and looking at basically, if you look at the previous bottoms, right, we are just right there, just like before. Again, showing some of the previous corrections, previous support levels, utilizing this 200 EMA, right? We are right there. So, have we found that bottom? Well, there's so many things that show that we have. Maybe short term, we still get some volatility. But I do believe the long-term trend from here on out will be positive. Okay? I've been saying that for a couple weeks now, ever since we hit that 25K. But I've been studying Bitcoin, looking at how it was just stuck in that 28, 29 range. No matter how bad the situation got, no matter how bad the U.S. markets got, how bad inflation woes, and how bad war woes, and how bad COVID pandemic woes was getting, Bitcoin stayed steady at that $28,000, $29,000 mark, which means the holders, the true holders, the ones that are holding no matter what, they are putting their foot down saying, no more. We're not selling. We're not going away. We're DCAing, right? And everything that we can measure right now versus previous corrections, previous downs, right? Everything is looking like we have found that bottom and we are ready to run. Doesn't mean that we're going to do a V-shaped recovery, but the long-term trend from here is pointing upwards. So it's going to get exciting. I think it's going to get exciting. I am excited, and I've been hoping that you guys been staying patient, right? Holding, not make any rash panic sells, because whenever you do that, it leads to bad things. It leads to bad things. And here's one about frantically not selling, frantically stacking sats, frantically buying. Here's another one, another model, okay, that shows you, and this is utilized in 2-year moving average, when to accumulate, when you want to accumulate hard, and when you want to sell. This goes back to 2017, 2018, and you could see back in 2017, when Bitcoin was above the top, when it was in red, that's a good indication of selling. Then we had a long period in 2018, 19, 20, where Bitcoin was below the bottom line, heavy accumulation. That's where you want to stack sats. Happened in 2020 briefly with the COVID crash. And we are seeing that right now. We have fallen below. So you can consider it frantically stacking sats zone, right? But it's flipping upwards. An opportunity may be gone soon, right? So this is why you want to be patient. You want to hold and DCA and take advantage of the opportunities when they are here, right? So that's why I want to kind of go over some of the altcoins. Just briefly run down through them because a lot of people have been asking me, but it's important to note that you need to still hold on to Bitcoin. Just because if we start going upwards, we start going on a recovery cycle, whatever you want to call it, right? It's still important to be holding on Bitcoin. I think a lot of people learned that during this correction, if you were all altcoins and no Bitcoin, you got severely hurt. Way worse than people that held just all Bitcoin or 50% in Bitcoin, right? So it's still important to keep a diversified portfolio. All right. And then lastly, a couple things. Ethereum is the same. Ethereum, I almost consider the Bitcoin a smart contract, right? 50% of Ethereum in circulation now belongs to address that have been held for over a year. Okay, now Bitcoin's figure is higher. Bitcoin is at like 67%. The number of addresses and the number of liquidity that have held for over a year is above like 67%, right? Ethereum is 50%, not as high, but still very impressive. Shows the number of holders in Ethereum is still very strong as well, right? And Ethereum 2.0 is around the corner. They're about to do the merge with their testnet. So Ethereum definitely something that is worth holding on to as well. All right. Now, the only other thing I want to talk about, I just want to comment on this because I think this is totally, utterly ridiculous. All right. I know a lot of you guys are Doge fans. And right now we know that Doge is propped up by one man, and that's Elon, right? There's not a whole lot going on with Doge right now other than Elon trying to incorporate with SpaceX and Starlink and incorporating with Tesla already and many other things. But, right now we know that Elon is also trying to buy Twitter. And once upon a time, he asked Jackson Palmer, co-founder of Doge, to help with that. And Jackson Palmer at the time was very helpful, it seemed like, saying, hey, if you DM me, I'll send you a script that can help get rid of spammers and spots. And that's still something that Elon wants to get rid of, which is something that still exists today, right? But back in the day, Elon was asking for help. Jackson seemed like he wanted to help. But keep in mind, back in 2018, Jackson already left the project. He left Dogecoin a long time ago. Him and Billy Marcus, they started it as a joke, and they have left. And by leaving, they missed out on billions upon billions upon billions of dollars that would have been in their possession had they just held on to their own creation. And since then, Jackson Palmer has become very, very touchy about the matter, very salty about anyone that's trying to help Dogecoin, which is why he is attacking Elon right now, attacking him on his acquisition of Twitter, attacking him on the script, saying that Elon doesn't know anything about code. He called him a grifter, says that he makes empty promises and never delivers, and he brings up autopilot or FSD as an example. And basically he said, I've always thought Elon was a grifter and he's no good. Basically, that's what he summed up, okay? And I just have to laugh at this because this is coming from someone, like I said, created something but had no belief in what they created, sold out, lost billions. Even today, even with the downturn, he would be a billionaire, multi-billionaire, lost out on it, still has to work a 9-to-5 job as an Adobe software engineer. Yet he's criticizing someone saying that this guy never delivers. First of all, the richest man on earth, one man that is CEO of 4 major companies, and he's trying to call him out saying that he doesn't know what he's doing. He's not a good programmer. He won't deliver. It's just the whole situation is laughable. And Jackson Palmer wanted to stay quiet. He wanted to get away from crypto space because he thought it was toxic. He wanted to get off of social media altogether. So I don't know if, he's just so salty, so jealous right now. He had to come out with this interview with this crikey Australian news outlet and bash Elon to get some attention to himself. But yeah, this is just, the whole thing's laughable. And what's more sad about this is Elon is trying to help his creation grow, right? That's the thing. He's not trying to bash Doge. He's trying to make Doge the currency of the world, trying to make Doge accepted on Mars. Yet the founder of it does not like it. You tell me. You tell me what's wrong with that picture, right? Anyways, I just want to comment on that. It's just utterly ridiculous, and I don't even see the point to this. All right, but anyways, that is all. That is all. Now, I did say I was going to go through a list, real quick. Right, a lot of you guys, some of you guys are new, some of you guys are not. You may be wondering, well, what should I pick up right now? Right. So let me run through a top 100 list really, really quickly, but let me start out by saying you don't want to skip out on Bitcoin. Never skip out on Bitcoin. I think the last 9 weeks have proven as much, right? You want to have 50%, at least 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin for that stability and strength. You want it, and still you could get that growth too. Like right now, Bitcoin dominance is growing. So obviously not having Bitcoin in your portfolio is hurting you. Your overall portfolio is shrinking versus Bitcoin, right? So you got to have Bitcoin. Now, outside of Bitcoin, I think you have to have Ethereum. Ethereum's not going to go away. Its demise is overly exaggerated. So Ethereum is like the Bitcoin of L2s. You got to have Bitcoin. Ethereum. Binance Coin, I do believe with Binance as big as they are and their new chain, a lot of potential. Cardano also. The loyalty to Charles is second to none, okay? And they are still developing, and they got the new bridge out with USDC, which is why they popped recently. So you got to throw Cardano in there. Going down list, I think Solana still has potential, even though they're having a lot of issues right now with their network. But they have some major backers. Sam Bankman-Fried, for example, of FTX, not giving up Solana. So I think they're not going to go away. They do have a lot of issues to work out, but I'm thinking they will figure it out. So I think Solana is still up there. I just talked about Doge. I don't know. If you're going to hold on to meme coin, I still think Sheeb is better. But there are a lot of people that love Doge, a lot of people that love Elon, thinking that he will do something with Doge. So I'm just going to say neutral on Doge. Polkadot, Avalanche are 2 L1s. I think they have a lot of potential. So these are all like the big cap ones, right? You really can't go wrong with them. And let's skip over Tron because I just simply, they have been strong recently ever since the UST collapsed. because they came out with their own USDD and they're giving out 40% interest. So if you thought 20% from Anchor was too high, imagine 40% with Tron. I don't trust Tron. I wouldn't touch it even with a 10-foot pole because I don't trust Justin, and I wouldn't doubt that he was one of the ones that started the bank run in the first place. So I'm gonna skip over Tron. Shiba, I talked about it. Polygon, I think it's a great L2/L1. They have a lot of things going on. Chronos, Uniswap, Near, FTX. I think these are all good projects, not big caps. These are like mid caps now, right? But Chronos has their own chain, has their DeFi, their exchange. They have a lot going on. Uniswap is the biggest DEX. They're not going to go away. All the major new projects, they get listed on Uniswap first. Near Protocol is another L1. Interesting, up and coming. And FTX, of course, is the token that powers FTX. And they are absolutely huge, so they're not going to go away anytime soon. All right, now moving down the list, I think Chainlink is important. They're going to offer staking soon. They're the oracle of basically every DeFi project, right? So I like them. Cosmos, Algorand, VeChain, Hedera. These are all L1s. I particularly like Cosmos the most out of the ones I just named because their ecosystem is vast. And Binance Smart Chain, Terra used to be, and there's many others that's kind of connected into Cosmos ecosystem. Algorand also has a lot of things going on. Flow is also interesting because they're an L1 just for NFT projects. So I think they are a good hold as well. You move down the list a little bit, like Decentraland, ApeCoin, Tezos, Elrond, Sandbox, KuCoin. I think these are all good. Deception of ICP, I've never liked the ICP. Too overhyped. There's some things I don't like about it. But ApeCoin, I think it's going to be good because Yuga Labs is an absolute beast in the NFT space. Decentraland and Sandbox are two of the biggest metaverse plays. So they're going to be around for a while. A lot of brands still signing up to them. Tezos, Elrond, they're L1s too. Not as much TVL, not as much DEXs as some of the other L1s on top, but they're still building, up and coming. KuCoin, of course, the token for KuCoin Exchange, which is very, very nice exchange. You go down the list a little bit. I think Axie, with their play turn game, I think they still have potential. Theta being the biggest decentralized platform for streaming, they have potential. Helium has potential. They are in wireless network and 5G network, and they allow you to mine and share the network. So I think they're very promising. Big partnership with Dish Network. I think the graph helps project come out with APIs is good. Thorchain is all about liquidity for DeFi projects. I think they have potential. Phantom, IOTA, potential. Phantom sold off a lot recently, but they are promising L1. They have a ton of DEXs, ton of TVL, but they caught some slack because they're FUSD and Andre Crony leaving, but now supposedly he's coming back. IOTA is another L1. There's some stuff going on with them, so a little interesting. Quant, a lot of people like Quant, but it's more a B2B play. I'm not a fan of Waves. Neo, I'm not a fan of either. I just don't know anything that's going on in Neo. Loopring, I'm not a fan of. A lot of people are because of GameStop, and they're the NFT provider or marketplace of GameStop, which I don't think is a big deal, but a lot of GME guys does think so. So, PancakeSwap, Chiliz, Stacks, Zilliqa, Kusama, Cello, Engine. I think these are all good. Chiliz is into sports teams, coming out tokens and NFTs. Not in the U.S. yet, though, because they're considered securities, but they are building out with a lot of sports teams around the world. Stacks helps Bitcoin build DeFi and smart contracts. It's the only one really in the game. So if you're a Bitcoin maxi and you want to run DeFi projects on top of Bitcoin, you have to use Stacks. So I think it has promise there. Nexo is a lending project, although I don't know if I like it. Zilliqa's a L1. Kusama's a L1. So they're promising. Celo is like a L1, but for payment systems. So I got them mentioning about like JP Morgan and other banks talking about payment systems. Celo is definitely in that category. Going down a little bit, like Engine is all about Engine, and their new chain Infinity is all about NFTs and ERC20 tokens. They have like 4 different standards. I like them a lot. Gala, Harmony, Kava, AMP. They're promising. Gala is a gaming platform that co-founded by Zynga. I think they have a lot of potential. Harmony is an L1 that, based in the U.S., have a lot of potential. I interviewed the CEO before, Steven, and I think he's an awesome guy. Kava's like a DeFi ecosystem within the Cosmos ecosystem. AMP is also in a payment network. So they all have promise. And then going down a little bit, I'm going to skip over a few, but I think Arweave being a decentralized storage is really, really good. Cadena is also another promising L1 that I really do like. And there's a few others in here like Oasis and Qtum and Mina and Hollow. These are also L1s. You know, they're chains with their own ecosystem, but I'm just not as sold on them as some of the other ones I've mentioned. So there you go. That's the top 100. All right. So I went through it really quickly, but hopefully that helps. And, you know, if you're interested, do a little bit more research into them and see what they're all about. All right. Now let's do some Q&A. All right, let me see. Let me scroll up. I know there was a couple of super chats here. Thomas, good evening. What's up, Voyager, today? Why did it pop? I have no idea. Voyager, I didn't even see in the top 100. I don't know what happened to it. VGX, right? There we go. VGX. 20%. I don't know what they announced today, but they're not in the top 100, unfortunately, anymore. They're at 125. They have fallen quite a lot. But I'll look into it, see if it's anything worth. Dale asked about Audius. Yeah, I mean, they still have millions of people utilizing the platform. They don't even know that it's a decentralized streaming platform, but it is. So, yeah, I think Audius also has potential. Geostone, thank you. I lost all my Loon seed to KuCoin. Their support is not responding. How did you lose it? Did you try to send it to the wrong address? Is that why? You think Harmony 1 will bounce back? I do think so. I just mentioned them. I don't think they'll go away anytime soon. I think the Steven Tsai, who's the leader, I think he's a good guy. He's not going to give up. Mike asked about Hedera and Digibyte. Digibyte, I've given up on. I was always neutral on Digibyte, but it's clear now they have really no use case. The only advantage they have is their 5 hashing algorithms. But outside of that, you know, they try to go with a layer 2, not really working. They try to go with tokenization and DeFi, not really working. Hedera, on the other hand, I was always neutral on them, but they seem to have fixed a lot of the issues I had. They were not open source, but they are now. They didn't have smart contracts, but apparently they do now. So they have fixed some of these things. But they're dominated by the console that makes all the important decisions, which still makes it a little bit less decentralized from a governance standpoint versus some of the other chains. But they argue it's better that way. You don't want all the decisions to go to the users. So I think they have potential. What's your opinion on Steppen's current state? I don't like Steppen. I do not. I think, I don't know. There's something about it. It got pumped up way too much, way too fast. So that's a red flag for me. And second of all, if you look at the model, you know, you have to spend thousands to buy their NFTs before you could exercise. I know it's a health app, but it's not a free health app. You have to buy their NFTs and you could only use it so many times. So I mean, it's a system that seems unsustainable too. But you know what? We will see. And I believe it's built on Solana, so it is helping Solana in a big way in terms of transactions and so forth. Ret USA Force. If USDT crashes, does it affect paired crypto such as XRP, USDT? Yeah, I would say so. If it crashes, it's gonna make it. I mean, the price, the pairing is gonna be so off. So rather than say XRP being at 42 cents, it's gonna be at like 30 cents or something, depending on what the USDT price is at the time. So it's gonna affect things. And if it completely goes to zero, like UST did, well, then I don't know what these exchanges will do, because they all hold hundreds of millions, hundreds of billions of, hundreds of millions to tens of billions. Okay, not hundreds of billions, tens of billions. And if they can't redeem, a lot of exchanges will go belly up. So it's something that we never really want to see. All right. UST was bad, but USDT going bankrupt would be arguably 10 times to 100 times worse. ILV Land and OGN NFTs, I haven't really been keeping up with them, to be honest. I am sensing that land sales is way, 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 way too overdone. A lot of these NFT play to earn games, it seems like when their game is not done yet, what can they do? Sell off land. It's just another way to raise money, but it's like, okay, enough. We don't need to buy land. We just need a game to be out, right? So unfortunately, a lot of play to earn games is just taking advantage and selling land, and a lot of them aren't doing well. Mirror Protocol, I mean, it's probably dead because of Luna, so I would stay away from them. Hey, George, I have an average of 2,400 per coin on ETH. I have 20% in cash. Would you DCA now and risk having 10, 15%? Well, it's a hard question to answer, right? Right now at 1,900, you're not that far off from your 2,400. So, yes, you can DCA right now. It'll bring your cost average down a little bit, but since you don't have enough cash on the side, in my opinion, I would say if it was me, I would just hold out and see what happens. If Ethereum goes down way, way, way more to like 1,500 or 1,000, then that would be an opportunity that I would not miss out on. But seeing how Ethereum is close to 2,000, you're only 20% off, and that 20% could be regained within a week or two. I don't know. I think having that cash on the side is more important at this point. But if you already have, let's say, 25, 30% cash, then I would say DCA. That's fine. But I think right now it's important to have that cash. Make sure you could DCA in the long haul. What are your thoughts on Dash? Does the project still have any life left? I don't hear anything about Dash anymore, quite honestly. The last thing I heard was they had some momentum in Venezuela. But since then, I have not heard anything about Dash. But the good news is, I guess, they're still holding at number 71. They're still in the top 100, but I have not heard anything. They're in the privacy space, right? Dash, Monero, Zcash, and Horizon, many others, they're in the privacy space. So I tend to stay away from privacy coins because I think they're all going to be delisted. How long did it take to make your first 100K in crypto, first million? At the end of the day, I'm in this for wife-changing wealth. I love the tech, but love the idea of freedom more. Freedom from your wife or freedom from your job? Because those are two different things. But anyways, I don't know. I'll tell you this. First 100K, I think, came really quick because of 2017. End of 2017, altcoins came up really quick. So I made that within months. Then that went down to almost nothing for the next 3 years. So it took a while. First million took probably 5 years, 4 to 5 years. I'll tell you, you know, the saying, first million is the hardest. That's exactly right, because I made the second million in like next to no time, right? So it is something that you have to work towards, in my opinion, and having patience and basically DCAing along the way. That's the best anyone could do. A lot of people that have made millions over the years, that's simply what they did, was they held on what they had, yeah, and the projects they believed in, and continued to DCA and just hold, and that's it. And despite having downtrends and corrections like this, they brought their average price down, and when things recovered and made new highs, they all made gazillions of dollars. That's everyone I know that have made a ton of money have all done it the same way. I have not met one person, maybe outside of Sam Bankman-Fried, that said, okay, I day traded every single day for 30 days, and now I made $1 million. Not one person I've met that have done that. Everyone has just basically DCA'd along the way, and that's why I believe in it, and that's why I preach it, because it works. Thoughts on the new ape game, Anchor Goodbye? No, your Anchor is different Anchor. I've always been neutral on them. And as for the new game, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know how good it is. It looks pretty good, but I don't know how good it is. I'm hoping that it does utilize ApeCoin, though, so it could pump up ApeCoin or give it at least a use case. Because right now there's not a whole lot of use case for ApeCoin. Any thoughts on ADA? It's good. It's good. It's one of the ones that I do believe is going to continue forward and upwards because of the loyalty towards Charles and because of development. They keep developing. They're not done yet. You know, the old saying, when Cardano, but they're getting there. Getting there. Seems like everyone's looking for wife-changing wealth. Jacko, have you been following the accusations of Alex from Celsius dumping Cell tokens? Seems like there's something there with certain wallets connected to past rug pulls. You know, Jacko, I kind of looked at it. There's this one video from this one guy that kind of made connections from previous rug pulls and the same wallets being used by Alex, and there's a lot of accusations, right? It makes me a little bit more wary of Celsius overall. And especially you look at a couple team members, their CFO was connected to Seren Labs, and Moshe Goheg, who was the CEO, who's now been indicted and arrested. Their CRO is also associated with that project. There's a lot of associations with Seren Labs, and Seren Labs was a advisor of Celsius, and Alex was a advisor of that company. There was a lot of, I don't know, right? I'm hoping Alex just addresses all this and hopefully doesn't try to just sweep it under the rug and say, oh, it's all FUD, it's not credible. Because, you know, right now we know that SEC is attacking lending projects. They shut off interest on BlockFi. They shut off interest on Celsius, right? Celsius, of course, has their own token, which the SEC may be looking at, something that BlockFi doesn't have. So there's a lot of fear ready over lending projects, but all this stuff that's coming out about Celsius is also, you know, making me a little wary about them. So I just say be careful, and let's see what Alex says during his Twitter Spaces and YouTube videos. Um, why is everyone looking for wife-changing wealth? Come on, what about just life-changing wealth? If you find a good woman, you hold on to her, or vice versa. If you find a good man, you hold on to him, right? Loyalty is what counts. You want someone that stays loyal to you, right? So don't be so quick to change. Am I drinking tonight? A little bit. Tonight I'm drinking Corona Extra. Favorite exchange? There's a lot. It really depends on where you are. I mean, you see some of my partners, FTX in the US, great exchange, especially the mobile app, their Blockfolio app, great tracker. Even if you don't use their exchange, but a great tracking app. But also they have their NFT marketplace. They're going to offer stocks soon. Like others like Coinbase and Gemini, they're kind of staples. And of course you have like Kraken and if you want to go overseas like KuCoin, Binance.us or Binance.com. I mean, there's a ton out there. But there's a few up and coming ones too. So I've been trying to experiment with more of some of the up and coming ones that I'm not so familiar with. But yeah, there's a lot out there. Just make sure you do your research. Don't FOMO all of your money into exchange that is brand new or you don't know. And it goes same thing with DEXs, with liquidity pools. You just don't know how secure they are and whether or not they're going to do a rug pull or there's some kind of hack or something. Just be careful. Times change. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Thoughts on Optimism launching today? I haven't really kept up with them, so can't really talk about it. Marilyn says, you want someone loyal like Dogecoin? Oh, man. I mean, not to spread FUD, but I really wonder if Dogecoin's wife is going to stay with him. I don't know. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to be married to someone that lost what $20 billion worth of people's wealth. I mean, I don't know. That's just too much. I don't know. Anyways, not to get too private with his private life, but yeah. All right. Anything else? Voyager has been good to me. I mean, Voyager's on and off. I mean, I remember, they had a good run from like $2 to like $10 and $12 in 2021. Then they kind of fell back down, and now they're at $2 something. So obviously they haven't regained their momentum. But as an app, they're still good. And they still offer staking rewards. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be shut down pretty soon by the SEC. So, yeah. All right, guys, that is it. Overall, today's a pretty good day. Bitcoin surpassed 32, came back down a little bit, but more importantly, it's now above this 31.6, and it seems like it wants to hold above. That is very, very positive. So Bitcoin can hold here, utilize this as support, and move forward tomorrow. The rest of this week could be fantastic. And there are so many indicators that show that Bitcoin has found a bottom and we are in recovery mode. We may not do a V-shaped recovery, but it is definitely time to start moving upwards. All right, guys, that is it. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, And I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.